I've had a bit of a light bulb moment this morning, and I would call it a bit of a life lesson at the age of 59 that I probably should have learned many, many years ago. But I got it this morning, and in this video, I want to share what that lesson was in the hope that maybe you'll take something from it too, because I kind of wish I'd got this lesson many years ago. But it started when I got up this morning and decided I'd put some makeup on. And stick with me here, because makeup is not the lesson, it's just the catalyst for the lesson. But basically, I haven't worn makeup for months and months, despite the fact that I've worn makeup all my life since I was probably in my early teens, when, you know, like most girls, we experimented with makeup because we wanted to look like the girls in the magazines. At the time, it was probably the Jackie magazine. I don't know if anybody else remembers that. And I guess nowadays, it's probably more about keeping up with the girls on social media, on Instagram, etc. So that's where the makeup started. And I've always enjoyed playing around with makeup. But actually, when I got to like young adult, makeup became more of a mask. It was a way of me feeling more confident about myself. It was a way of almost being like a chameleon. By playing around with makeup, I could change the way I looked, and it kind of hid the real person underneath, I think. And definitely, as somebody with ADHD, masking has been a big part of my adult life, trying to be somebody different because I didn't particularly like the person that I was. And I think makeup has played a huge role in that masking. And when I decided to retire, I'd kind of formally retired at the beginning of this year, but the process has been probably 6 months. It's very, very warm in here. Let me just open a window and hope it's not too loud out there. When I made the decision to start winding down and retire, and I wasn't seeing clients and things, makeup became more of a chore, I guess, if I'm honest. And I think there's an element of getting older and not caring so much. I kind of thought, you know what, I'm done with makeup. I kind of carried on wearing a little bit of lipstick because I do like that little bit of colour. But I have been quite open on YouTube in particular about the fact that I don't wear makeup anymore. In fact, a couple of months ago, I got rid of a shed load of makeup. If you open my top drawer of my dressing table, it was packed to the gunnels with makeup. I just had a bit of an obsession with it, and I got rid of pretty much all of it, 99% of it. I kept a lot of lipsticks, but I kept one mascara, one eyeliner, and one light foundation, and that was it. And I honestly can say I haven't really worn any makeup. Even when I went on a dance break last November, I wore nothing but a little bit of lipstick all week. And when I got up this morning, I had to take my daughter to work because a deer ran into her car, and her car's in for assessment as to whether they repair it or write it off. Last Friday, this all happened. And she needs to get to work, so I was taking her to work, and she's a nurse, so she starts very early. So literally I was up at about 5:45 this morning to get her to work for 7 o'clock, and I thought, well, there's no way in the world I'm getting up and doing makeup at that time. I mean, I wouldn't say that even crossed my mind because I haven't worn makeup for so long, so I didn't even think about it. But if I had thought about it, I would not want to have been putting makeup on at that time of the morning. Now, there was a time that I wouldn't have stepped out of the house without a full face of makeup on, and it's not that long ago. We're probably only going back a couple of years. I would not have put the bins out, or the trash if you're watching in the States. I wouldn't have gone outside the house without a full face of makeup. The last couple of years, that's kind of reduced, and I was finding that I was wearing makeup less often than I was wearing it. But for client work or anything like that, or if I was going dancing with Mark or any kind of social event, or meeting up with friends, whatever it might be, I would put makeup on. And I haven't done for a few months. And a good 6 months ago, I said, no, enough. I can't be bothered. I'm not doing this anymore. And then when I'm kind of digressing a little bit here, but when I got back from taking my daughter to work, it was still only 7:30 when I got back, 7:30, 7:45. Anyway, had my shower, washed my hair, and I was getting ready, and I thought, do you know what, I really fancy putting some makeup on. I haven't worn makeup for ages. I really fancy putting a bit of makeup on. And I haven't got a huge amount left, as I say, a little bit of foundation, a little bit of mascara and an eyeliner, and the many lipsticks. So I haven't got a huge amount of choice, but I just thought I really fancy it. Now, the makeup, as I said, isn't the lesson. It's not the life lesson. What comes next is. So I had this big internal mental conflict, because in my mind I was saying I really would like to play around and have just put some makeup on. But the other voice in my head was going, you can't do that. That'll make you a fraud. You've been telling everybody you don't wear makeup anymore, and now you're going to wear some, and that's not you. That's not authentic. That makes you a fraud. And it was quite bizarre, and I even got to the point where I was thinking, well, I'll only put it on for today and I'll wash it off later because I'm going live on YouTube. And in a few previous YouTube videos, I've talked about the fact that I'm not wearing makeup anymore. And I suddenly, had this thought that if I didn't wash it off and I was seen with makeup on, people would think I was a fraud, that I was a liar, that I wasn't authentic. And I actually, as I verbalise this and say it out loud, I do realise how ridiculously pathetic this sounds. But I don't know, maybe you can relate to this. Maybe this is a lesson that you perhaps need to learn as well. But in that whole thought process, I also had another penny drop moment when I thought, really? Do you really think anybody cares that much about whether or not you're wearing makeup? And the truth is, no, they don't. Nobody cares whether I'm wearing makeup or not, apart from me. That's it. Nobody, not even my husband, cares whether I wear makeup or not. But the big lesson I think that I've kind of worked through this morning is that as a 59-year-old woman and a grown-up, I have agency over my own decisions. And if I want to change my mind, that's okay. I can do that. It doesn't make me a fraud. It doesn't make me inauthentic. It just means I changed my mind. When I made the decision 6 months ago not to bother wearing makeup, it was the right decision then, and it's not the right decision now. And it seems so flippin' obvious, doesn't it? It's just a choice. And people might think I'm flaky, and people might think I'm whatever, but I can't alter what they think. And quite honestly, if they do think that, it's down to them. It doesn't really change my decision. But I realised again that I was almost, what's the word I'm looking for? I was abdicating responsibility for my choices to other people. Is abdicating the right word? Or kind of giving away my agency, my ability to choose for myself to other people, because I was worrying about what other people would think of me. And quite honestly, I think that's dangerous. I do think I did a video on this quite recently about why we should care about what other people think. But this is one of those occasions where it really doesn't matter what other people think. The only thing that matters here is how I feel. Now, one of the other lessons that I got this morning when I did put makeup on, as you can see, I am wearing makeup now, is that my reason for wearing makeup has changed. And this is a massively important lesson, or a massively important shift. Because in the past, where I've worn makeup to try and almost as a mask to try and be somebody else, or to for a confidence boost, I realised that that's not why I was wearing it today. I just wanted to, just kind of enjoyed the process of putting makeup on. I quite like the way it looks, and the purpose, I guess, behind wanting to put makeup on has changed. And again, it comes down to the decision and why I want to wear it. And it's for me, it's not for anybody else. It's not because I want to feel more attractive to other people. It's not because I want to impress anybody. It's just because I really fancied putting some makeup on this morning and playing around, you know, with a different look. And that's really important, I think. Anyway, this was not meant to be the video I was going to post today. I've got a mountain of footage waiting to be edited and scheduled out, but this was in my head, and sometimes I find that what's in your head needs to come out, and you can create a video just without sort of thinking too hard about what it is you're trying to say. It may not be the best video in the world, but I just, while it was fresh in my mind that I'd kind of got this penny drop moment, I just wanted to share it. And I'd love to know in the comments if you relate to anything I've said, and, you know, what do you think? Am I flaky? Am I inauthentic because I've gone back on what I said to everybody, that I wasn't going to wear makeup, and now I am? I must be some sort of fraud. Oh dear me, our brains do play tricks on us, don't they? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. If you're interested in, if we've not met before, hello, by the way, I probably should have done this at the start of the video. I'm Bev. I'm an early retired woman in the UK, and I do YouTube, and I talk about my early retirement journey, and I talk about YouTube, and I talk about my ADHD, and I talk about the stuff that gets in my head, and hopefully, you know, you might find it a little bit informative, hopefully a bit inspirational, maybe just a bit thought-provoking. That would be good, wouldn't it? Anyway, if you have enjoyed it, do me a favour, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. That would do me a huge favour as I'm trying to grow this channel, and I'd be forever grateful. So thank you very much for sticking around, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye bye.